Hey everybody, this is Steve from GamersNexus.net, and we are back with another episode of Saturday Heat Signature. This is our fourth episode, actually, where we cover not super popular games, and some of them, like Hawken from last week, have actually gained a ton of popularity in the last couple days. Hawken, actually, just a quick update, received, I believe, $10 million in investment. I don't know if they accepted it, but they were definitely offered it. So check out the Hawken video from last week if you haven't seen it. Let's get to Castle Story. We're talking about Castle Story this week. I've been bringing you guys up with it, keeping everyone up to date for the last couple episodes now, actually, since the first episode I think I even mentioned it. So what we're going to look at today is what exactly it is and why it's so cool and why it has my attention. Castle Story is another voxel-based game, and voxels are, it's not super complex. I had a developer explain it to me, and I'll be writing an article. But voxels, basically, think of them like your 3D equivalent to pixels. Not exactly, but pretty close. Close enough for purposes of what we're talking about. And Minecraft is another example of a voxel game, just to kind of give you, and Cube World as well, which we covered 2 episodes ago, I believe. Or actually 3 episodes ago. So Castle Story is entirely fantasy-based. It is based on flying islands. You build what you want. It's freeform building, entirely freeform. Build anything you want. You can dig tunnels through mountains, you can explode stuff with TNT, and even clean it up after you explode it, believe it or not. The blocks don't just disappear and vanish like in most games where stuff explodes. They actually will fall and kind of gather where you would expect them to when TNT blows stuff up. So, and then you can have your guys pick it back up. But that's just a minor detail. The objective of the game is to just build, just like Minecraft. You just build whatever you want. You get creative. It's a creative-based game. So if you really like that kind of freedom in games like this, and if you're really a creator-type personality, then you'll probably love this game. It is an RTS, so it's been referred to in our post before as a Minecraft RTS, which isn't exactly perfectly accurate to what it is, but for all intents and purposes, you get the idea. So it is a strategy game. You get your block dudes, which are called Bricktrons, actually, and they look like pineapples. They look like pineapples with arms and legs, but they are intelligent pineapples because they can use tools and weapons. So we get our Bricktrons, and the game is actually really similar to the old Settlers series. For anyone that remembers those games, I think they still make them, like Settlers 3 and 4. You kind of control your units. You basically tell them, hey, I want to build this castle here. And then you have your designated group of builders that will go and grab blocks from a stockpile and plant them down and start building up walls to the castle. So here's where the game gets interesting. Instead of a 1x1 block system like Minecraft uses, it actually uses a 1x2 block system. It does have 1x1 blocks, but its primary block is 1x2. And what that really means is, since the game has a pretty nice physics engine, they use Unity 3D as their engine, and then that has a cool physics engine inside of it. Since it has a nice physics engine, that means if you were to build, let's say, an entire wall with 1x1 blocks, each block above every block on top of another block will rely on the one below it to stay where it is, because it's not cemented into place or anything. So if you remove the bottom block in a series of blocks in a wall, all of them will scatter or be destroyed or fall around, what have you, because there's nothing to support them. So with a 1x2 system, you can stagger your block placement, which means you can remove one block and all of the others will still stay there because they're supporting each other. So, and the reason that's cool is because you can remove a block either to create a cool design, like you could remove several blocks to create an emblem in the side of your castle as an example, or if there's glass, they haven't given any reason to think there's glass, but if there is, you could fill it in with that. You could also create kind of an archer area, so if you think of a traditional castle, you could hollow out some holes in the wall and then plant an archer there, and he'll have a good line of sight to the enemy and still be protected. And some other cool stuff like that. So there are a lot of really good uses for a 1x2 system, and hopefully these screenshots I've been showing will help you understand what exactly the developers were getting at there, because that is one of their big pulls. They also have arches and a couple other different types of blocks. So far I think I've only seen 1x1 blocks, 1x2 blocks, arches, stair blocks, ramp blocks, and what else? I think there's one more, a half block of some kind, but that might just be a 1x1. That's all I know about so far in terms of blocks. We know that for resources there will be stone, wood, and definitely some other resources, though they haven't revealed them yet. With stone, obviously, you can build your castles, you can mine for it, you can declare a mining region in your island. Everyone starts on an island, and you rally your brictrons together and start mining and collecting resources, just like many other games of this style. So you declare your mining region, and if you tell them to, your brictrons will actually mine through the entire floating island and fall out the bottom, which isn't necessarily good for their health, but it is quite funny to watch, I have to admit. And so if you want, you could actually get pretty cool with declaring your three-dimensional mining location and mine a tunnel and create a huge complex tunnel network. Now, again, this is my speculation, this is my opinion. I think it would be awesome if you could build your castle inside of a tunnel. I don't know if they'll let you do that, but that would be so cool if you could build, like, think of mining a tunnel through a mountain, and then all you have to do is wall off the entrance, wall off the exits, and hope no one tunnels through to you from below or the sides. And you'd basically have a dwarven fortress right there. And that's, I think, the customization in this game, the potential for customization, excuse me, is fantastic. They recently said they added doors, which might sound simple, but it is a good step. They added doors to the game. It is not an alpha; it is pre-alpha right now. So don't be too surprised at me being excited about doors. And the reason I got excited about them is because they said, the developers hinted that now they can use the engine to detect, okay, is this room completely sealed? And if so, how does that affect other elements in the game? So if you think about why would a room being completely sealed help the game engine figure something out? And what I came up with was, and again, all my own thoughts here, not developer commentary or anything. I would imagine you could definitely use that for liquids, so filling a room with some kind of water or lava or something like that. I'm thinking for purposes of maybe, I really don't know what purpose a room full of water would have other than it'd be cool, but potentially some kind of liquid, because otherwise you'd have a leak if it's not completely sealed. You could also use it for line of sight purposes. So if you have a ton of brictrons in a room that's completely sealed, they should have no line of sight to anything outside. So that might help with that. What else did I come up with here? I was thinking, I think that's pretty much what I got. I was thinking maybe explosion purposes. I don't know if the physics engine is that advanced, but a contained explosion would definitely have different effects than a non-contained explosion in real life, but I really don't think they'll go that deep with it. And then, of course, takeover purposes. If there's any kind of capture the flag or king of the hill or capture the base, anything where you're taking over bases, that would definitely be another good purpose for it. So I can see why they'd be excited. There are different types of resources, like I said, digging tunnels through mountains, all that. Really cool stuff. You can also chop down trees. One thing I want to note, they're really optimizing this game to work well on as many systems as possible. I believe their exact words were, it will run on puny laptops right now. And they're hoping that will only get better, not worse. And they're doing a lot of cool tricks. They're changing the poly count on objects based on distance, so level of detail based on distance from an object. That way a faraway tree takes fewer resources than a close-up tree, and that'll help a lot for things like managing your system resources on a low-end system. To answer a couple frequently asked questions before we sign off here, there will be a beta version at some point in the future. They haven't announced it yet. They have said they are interested in putting out an alpha, but again, no current deadline or timeline on that. They are supporting Windows and Mac natively at launch, or at least that's the plan. They want to move to more platforms in the future, but obviously that will happen only with success, or most likely with success. Minimum requirements, they haven't given specific numbers. They just said a puny laptop will support it. No cost on the game. We do know it will cost less than $1 million. That is a quote from the developers, so hold them to that. If they try to charge you more than $1 million, you're getting ripped off. But that's because they promised it'd be less than $1 million. There will be multiplayer, so I can't wait for that. Taking over your friends' castles, or even building with your friends to make huge complex cities. All stuff like this on huge floating islands, which makes it even better, because then who knows what kind of bridges you could build with mini cities on the bridges in between islands. I think that'd be awesome. There's a ton of potential for this game. So really look forward to it. I'm going to try and keep you updated as much as possible with more videos as we get more info, and I will definitely be posting more articles on gamersnexus.net, probably more frequently than I do videos, so keep an eye there as well. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's a ton more I can tell you other than what I've already said, so I'm going to probably sign off with that. And again, please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want more of this type of video. We do one every Saturday. We also do hardware videos now, so please subscribe. It really helps us make more videos. Like, comment, anything you can do to let us know that you're listening, let us know that you're out there. It keeps us going. Thanks again for your support, guys, and look forward to Castle Story. Peace.